All right, let's dive right into today's explainer. We're going to be breaking down the anatomy of a first attempt. I want you to picture this. It's a quiet Saturday afternoon at a little surf shop in Malibu. The sun is just starting to set, casting this soft gold light. The waves are super gentle, and the stage is perfectly set for someone to step completely out of their comfort zone.
And that is exactly when Sophia walked in. Now, she didn't exactly look like your typical extreme thrill seeker. She was wearing a long skirt and just had this incredibly determined look in her eye. She'd actually been watching people from the beach, just laughing and falling in the small waves, and it completely drew her in. She walks up to the instructor and asks a very simple, direct question. "Can I try surfing?" And honestly, that question was the catalyst. It sparked this profound journey of everyday courage.
Which brings us right to Section 1, a quiet courage. So you might be wondering, who exactly is Sofia? Well, she's originally from West Bengal, India, and she's currently living in Korea for her husband's work. So right off the bat, she's far from home, navigating a totally different culture. But crucially, she wasn't alone. She was there with her husband and their young child. So this wasn't some solo, high-stakes sports mission. It was a deeply personal family experience just waiting to unfold.
Now, the instructor actually warned her right away that the water was freezing cold, asking if she was absolutely sure she wanted to do this. And she didn't even hesitate. She just said, "It's okay, I can do it." That unwavering confidence is just amazing. She swapped her long skirt for a wetsuit, and when she came back out, sure, she wasn't perfectly trained, but she was entirely, undeniably ready.
Moving on to Section 2, feeling over perfection.
On the first floor of the shop, the instructor realized almost immediately that a heavy, theoretical breakdown of surfing mechanics was literally the last thing Sofia needed. So he kept it incredibly simple with intuitive sand practice. Instead of teaching a complex pop-up, he just told her to follow her balance. He had her lift her chest in a movement really similar to the cobra pose in yoga. And when standing seemed like too much, he just said, "Hey, try kneeling slowly." He created these small movements for small progress. And the whole time, her husband is standing nearby holding their kid, just smiling and taking photos.
This brilliantly illustrates a massive goal shift. Think about it like two paths. On side A, you've got chasing perfection, the traditional route of stressing over step-by-step breakdowns and flawless technique. But Sofia, she took side B, chasing the feeling. This is all about following your balance, experiencing the motion, and just tapping into the energy of the ocean. By shifting the focus away from being perfect, you actually open the door to genuine experiential learning.
And that takes us to Section 3, riding the wave.
All right, so theory meets reality. They walk down to the water, attach the leash, and she gets into position as these soft waves roll in. And then she paddled, just totally locked in, pushing deliberately against the resistance of the water. And then the ocean delivered. A perfect, gentle wave started to swell right behind her. You can just imagine that insane anticipation building up in that split second.
"Now," the instructor yelled out, the energy completely peaked. Sofia lifted her arms, hitting that exact yoga cobra posture they practiced on the sand. She didn't stand up, and honestly, she didn't need to. The board caught the wave and totally surged forward. She rode it, lying down, feeling the rush of the speed and the incredible power of the ocean beneath her. And right there on the shore, her husband was holding their child in one arm and the camera in the other, capturing the absolute magic of her first ride. But the really crucial point here is the internal psychological shift. She tried again, and she fell sometimes. She definitely hesitated, and man, she felt that freezing cold water. But these weren't failures at all. They were vital milestones. Slowly but surely, her initial fear transformed into pure excitement. She wasn't chasing perfection anymore. She was completely consumed by the thrill of the glide. Which leads us to Section 4, more than a lesson. So after several rides, she makes her way back up onto the dry beach. She just looks around, smiles, and says, "I think it's okay." And you know, that simple phrase of satisfaction meant she had achieved exactly what she came for. She didn't just try a sport. She fully lived the experience. Because the ultimate goal was never about mastering the sport anyway, right? The real reward happened right after. She's posing with the surfboard, her husband and child jump in, and a complete stranger snaps a family photo for them. The adventure ended exactly as it should have, with shared laughter, some very cold water, and a beautiful framed memory of a family united by a quiet kind of courage. So as we wrap up our explainer today, I really want to leave you with a provocative question to chew on.
What is your Malibu wave? Where in your own life can you find the courage to drop the pressure of having to be absolutely perfect and just prioritize the feeling of trying something new? Think about it. Sometimes the most incredible memories come from just deciding to jump in. Thanks so much for joining me to explore this story, and hey, keep looking for your wave.